Welcome to another edition of the Nightly Nuge. Happy Monday, Ted. How are you today?
Yes, a very happy Monday. I'm doing so good. I improvise, adapt, and overcome. Every day of my life is a Nightly Nuge alert because truth, logic, and common sense will set you free. So, Keith, I'm proud to share that truth, logic, and common sense Nightly Nuge campfire with you, my friend.
You know what, Ted? I'm sure you're exactly like me. I didn't watch 1 minute of the Oscars. But my timeline blew up with some of my buddies sending me texts yesterday about the Will Smith, Chris Rock kind of debacle. I want to just give you a couple of thoughts that I've found off of social media, and let's see what your take is. So, of course, I follow Donald Trump Jr. as you do. Here's a post that he put on Twitter. What kind of privilege is it when you can assault someone on national television and then go ahead and win an Oscar rather than to go to jail, asking for millions of supposedly privileged people? Before you go, I was looking on my news feed, CNN analyst, and I'm not going to do her name justice, Asha Rangapapa. She's a CNN commentator, and she blamed President Trump for the debacle with Will Smith and Chris Rock. And I guess, and the last thing I'll say is there's a number of people think it's just fake. It's been put on. Josh here in our production suite says he thinks it's WWE type shenanigans. But I got multiple questions. I'll just start with these two. One, what's your take on it? And number two, what if every time somebody said something negative to Ted Nugent or Shemaine Nugent, that you would, what would happen if you got up and smacked him? And two, I would hope if you did get up and smack a guy that had his hands behind his back, it would actually knock him down. Take it from there, buddy.
There's a royal clusterbuck unfolding before our very eyes every day. There's all kinds of dynamics going on. And if I may, the author of Wango Tango would like to opine. And number one, black on black crime is quite visible. It's everywhere you go. Even at the Oscars, we got broadcast globally black on black crime. Okay, there's a number of dynamics that I would like to address. Number one, Chris Rock has had some brilliant moments where he's identified the failure of his culture to respond adequately and properly when pulled over by the police and how not to get killed. So we applaud Chris Rock on those rare moments where logic surfaced in his life. And with all due respect, I got to hang out at the Comedy Store with Richard Pryor, Rodney Dangerfield, Sam Kinison, Robin Williams. So I know that humor is supposed to be irreverent and outrageous. So Chris Rock's whole career is based on outrageous and irreverent. Certainly Will Smith knows that. And then there's another time in our culture where if you were disrespectful to my woman, that I should be able to cold cock you flat out in the street. Now, I have been attacked. My family, my mother, my wife, my children have been attacked publicly because I murder innocent animals, which I suspect would be considered barbecue in conscientious families' lives. And you know what I do? Because I've been armed since I'm 17. And I train with the greatest warriors of all time. And when people spit at me, when they attack the honor of my family members, you know what I do, Keith? I back away and leave. Because unless there's actual life-threatening conditions, I will not engage. So there's a two-edged sword here. Number one, I'm a huge fan of Will Smith, and I'm a huge fan of Chris Rock in many ways when I want a good guffaw or I want to see a super action actor in a brilliant role, which Will Smith seems to have dominated over the years. But to go ahead and drop your sense of social norms in the clusterbuck of 2022 and to walk up on stage for the whole world to see and slap Chris Rock, Will, prioritize. That's not the hill you want to climb right now. So there's all kinds of dynamics, but I thank Will and I thank Chris Rock because society needs to see that there is an element of our society most profoundly exposed in the Hollywood world where your and my rules of engagement don't apply, because let's go ahead and admit it right now. You and I would have been arrested. If Will Smith would have been a white guy hitting Chris Rock, he would have probably been taken out in handcuffs. But I'm glad that the whole world got to see it. But those days of defending the honor of our loved ones, in all practicality, those days are over. Because if you defend the honor of your wife in such a violent manner, you're supposed to go to jail. You're supposed to be charged with assault and battery. That was assault and battery under any jurisdictional definition. So it's good that the spoiled brat Hollywood people have so disconnected themselves from the rules of engagement for the rest of society that it's great we got to see it. Now, my final statement is I say we finally get to see it. Guess what? Almost nobody saw it, because the Oscars are so stupid and the people involved are so disconnected from society that mom and pop America don't watch them anymore, because pretty much everything about Hollywood is offensive and against the traditional family values that made America great, while they condemn those of us that purchase their products. And it's become so laughable. So there's a number of dynamics. Number one, I'm glad it happened. Number one, I'm glad I didn't see it. Number one, C, I'm glad that my friends have shared that with me, like you, Keith. Right. But let the world know the emperor has no clothes, and he's a wart-riddled fat pig.
You know what, Ted? I appreciate that insight. I actually wanted to open today. My plan was to talk about the Supreme Court nominee, but because of the slap heard around the world, I thought we would go on with the Oscars. So tomorrow, let's visit about Judge Brown Jackson and some of the confirmation hearings that are going on right now. So if you come back tomorrow, we'll get Ted's take on the Supreme Court nominee and on another edition of the Nightly Nooch. See you tomorrow, Ted.
Godspeed, America.